Thanks to the farmer up here, seeing the fox around. It's just down from his down the valley from his lambing fields, and seems to have taken up residence in the wood just down there. So we'll see if we can serve him a little 6.5mm eviction notice. Hey! These fields have just been cut, which means it's prime time foxing. It's early afternoon now, but by the time the machines finish on this field, early evening, then I wouldn't be surprised if as soon as machines disappear, there'll be foxes out there seeing what's out on the grass that's been chopped up by the blades of the cutter. Quite often little mice and voles and slugs and insects and stuff like that will all get chopped up, and first fox there will be the one that gets the lucky find. So very often it's a good bet. As soon as those fields are cut that evening, if you're out watching that field, you should get a result. So hopefully we'll get a result here tonight. The rifle I use a custom Remington 700. It's changing 260 Rem. It's sat in a Action International folding left-hand stock. Got a dual trigger on there, 24 inch, 1 in 8.5 barrel, Varmint barrel. Topped off with a MAE moderator, T12 Scout. Got an Atlas bipod on the front there, and sat on top there's a Night Force 5.5 to 22 by 50 scope. This rifle was built for me by Border Barrels, and it's about 3,000 rounds through it now, but it still shoots very, very well. So I've got a field just out the back here that's just been cut, and this one here to my left has recently been cut as well. So I'm quite optimistic that I'll have a fox come wandering across here shortly. It's about just gone 8 in the evening, so I've probably got another hour and a half of light, and I'm pretty confident something will turn up. You often find the presence of a fox is given away by other birds and animals, rabbits. If their head's up out the grass and they're looking round and they stop eating and they're not relaxed, then that's quite often a sign that there's a fox close by. They'll also they quite often run out of the hedgerow or into the hedgerow depending on where the danger is perceived. And the same with magpies and pheasants and blackbirds. They've all got their own distinct alarm calls. Magpies tend to just chatter away as they normally do, but more incessantly. So it's just worth keeping an eye on all these little things, and sometimes they might just give you that little clue as to where a fox is going to appear from. And also the actions of birds as well. Sometimes you see crows and magpies, they'll follow a fox along a hedgerow, and you can see them sort of constantly dive bombing at it or just keeping pace with it. So you might not be able to see the fox, but you might see the magpies, or a couple of magpies, or a crow or something moving along a hedge and being very vocal, and you quite often find the fox will be on the other side of it. That's the fox I just shot, 275 metres, so about 300 yards. So I'm up on the hill again this afternoon. I say this afternoon, it's late evening, it's about 8:30 at the moment. Got about half an hour before it gets dark. I was up here last night and saw 3 foxes up on bank, which I'm overlooking now. They're all at the time about 400 yards away from me, perhaps a bit further. I was over by the barns behind me, and I tried giving them a squeak, and I didn't get any reaction from them. I had my daughter with me, and she tapped me on the shoulder and pointed behind me, and a fox was running to about 50 yards right behind me, which I hadn't seen from the other side. So that's just how things go sometimes. I never got a chance to shot it, just as soon as it saw him move, it was gone. So I'm back out again this evening, overwatching this bank, and hopefully I'll have a bit more luck this evening. So this is the area the foxes were seen in. 2 of them as a pair came up pretty much along this path here. You can see get the camera focused. See there's a path there, comes across the hill. There's 2 of them come up along there and then went up along this bank and over behind. And then another one further down the bottom. So hopefully if I wait here for half an hour or so, I should get a chance of knocking one of these foxes over as it comes up this bank. And there's the first one out, hunting around the gorse over there. That's actually on a neighbouring bit of ground, so that's a fair distance as well. Here's our first visitor. Unfortunately he's right on top of that hill, so unless he comes down that bank, I haven't got much of a shot. Here we go. That fox was 220 yards. It looked to be a fairly small cub. Well, I say small cub, I mean a fairly small fox, so probably one of this year's cubs. I expect 3/4 grown cub, something like that. So I'm just going to give it 10 minutes just see anything else wanders over. If not, then I'll go down and have a look at that. I'm going to pick it up anyway. So as you can see, it's dropped that fox cleanly where it stood. That's where the round's gone in, straight in the chest, and made a bit of a mess of the rest of it. You can actually see there, that's where the bullets impacted after it's passed through the fox. So a good clean kill.